That is the sound of the music ending by Tim. And hello everyone, we're Precarious Pixels.
Hello.
Hi, it's Bob.
Hi, that's me.
He's always with me. Well, not I guess not in life, but in recording.
Okay.
That's wow, I can't get it together this week. I'm Tim. This is Bob, and we're Precarious Pixels. And our starts are always awkward.
That's true.
Yes. So we've watched a lot of stuff. We've played a few things, and we're going to talk about them today. So let's start this off right. We've seen some movies. Bob's going to talk to you about his little run-in with Terminator that is not Terminator.
It's not. It was rough. It's definitely not Terminator, though. And
Right.
if you thought it was Terminator, it wasn't.
Yes.
Everything about it. The fact that there's a Terminator in the movie, it's one Terminator in the movie. There's no other Terminators.
That's right. They're all revs.
The only other thing is a rev.
Yes. Which they do all the things that Terminators do. But
As a matter of fact, they look like a combination of two Terminators.
That's right. But they're not.
Nope.
They're so not. So, without getting into too many spoiler things here, this kind of throws away all the other Terminators you've seen except for 1 and 2.
Right.
So this picks up after 2 with some... I don't know, how do you want to start it?
I mean, we could talk about the way they started it, but that in itself is a spoiler.
Right. Well, let's just say something has changed. Where?
Well, we could put it this way. Right. So in Terminator 2, which came out forever ago, I think you guys would be okay if I spoil this.
Yeah, 94, 95?
I thought it was like 91.
Was it that long ago? Yeah, it might have been. Actually, you're right. I think it was 91.
John Connor and Sarah Connor and the T-800, Arnold Schwarzenegger, stop Skynet. They destroy Skynet, they take out the T-1000, and then, Skynet is no more.
Right.
Somehow, another company in this film has taken their place in the future, causing another Judgment Day. And 2 people have been sent back. One of them is a person, one of them is not a person, to stop one of them to stop Judgment Day and to protect actually not even to stop Judgment Day, just to protect the leader of the Resistance.
Right.
And then the other is to take out the leader of the Resistance.
Right.
But it's Terminator again, only it's not Terminator. And there's people there that were in it. It is almost Star Wars 7 through 9.
Really? Wow.
Bear with me.
Okay.
You have the old guard there.
Right.
But they don't matter much.
Right. So it's like, hey, let's talk about the new kids, but let's, unlike in the Star Wars, let's really destroy the continuity completely from all the other movies.
Yeah. Let's make none of that matter.
Right.
And they killed 3 through 5. So there were actually 5 of these before this.
Right.
If you haven't been paying attention, which is crazy enough. Because it should have ended with 2. But they killed 3 through 5, it didn't matter. This is an alternate timeline, and none of the other stuff mattered, because apparently another company is going to create another AI, which is going to cause another Judgment Day, and they're going to need another hero, no matter what. Which I guess is the Dark Fate they're going for.
Right.
I thought Dark Fate was like you couldn't stop Skynet and Cyberdyne.
Right.
But apparently, it's now this other company, Legion.
Which, great company name.
Yeah, like, I would trust Legion.
I always want to look up if there is a company called Legion and what they actually do.
Legion, what the real company Legion does, Tim, in case you're wondering, I looked it up, is that they sprinkle anthrax on kindergartens.
Yes.
Because there's no company that could ever be good that would call themselves Legion.
Legion, yes.
It's ridiculous. It's, anyway, this movie, not so good. And it's a shame too, because I like Tim Miller. I like Deadpool.
Yeah, no, he's done great stuff. I mean, he worked on a lot of the Batman Arkham stuff, and that was always good. Like those cutscenes and the story kind of behind those have always been kind of interesting.
And I like Linda Hamilton does a great job being old and angry.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is there.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about him in this film. He showed up.
Yep.
It's tough. It's tough with him because, he can't do what he used to. But they've got these other people doing stuff, and all the stuff they're doing is not what he used to either. I don't think there's a point where they're not CG enhancing a fight scene.
Right. And which is, Terminator 2 was kind of the first movie to really do that. Really do the CG effects, and it was a huge jump at the time. People had never seen anything with the liquid Terminators and all that kind of stuff.
Liquid metal with reflective surfaces. It was cool.
Nobody had ever accomplished that before. And even in the first Terminator, it was practical. It was all practical. There was no building. There was no CG or anything like that.
No.
And I think that kind of helped it. It kind of made it a little more grounded. But this one, it's hey, we can, have two Terminators and one thing and that kind of stuff. And we can have a walking metal skeleton and all that stuff.
They never explained that either. I don't know. This movie was just... It wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
It was a shame. I still say the order of them is going to be, for me, 2, 1, 4, and then the others are all not so good.
Was 4 the one with
That's Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, yeah. And I like that one a lot too. It kind of gives you, hey, this is John Connor's story, and what happens with him, and how the whole Terminator program starts, and that kind of stuff. The
stuff you'd want to know.
Yeah, that stuff, and how he why they keep sending, people back in time to kill him, and then it's I think it introduced his father as a young man who he meets and trains and stuff.
Yeah, I think that might have been... Was that Anton Yelchin playing
his
father?
It was Anton Yelchin. Yeah. R.I.P. buddy.
Yeah.
He was a good actor. Shame.
But the rest consistently are bad. And it's a shame because this could have been really good.
It could have been. I was kind of waiting. I was okay, they're, James Cameron's, they're really advertising James Cameron as being on board. You think Tim Miller, you could, he's done some good stuff, and you're okay, let's go for it and see where this goes. And it seems it's just erasing everything and trying to start all over. It just seems like a bad idea. And
I don't think Linda Hamilton has done almost anything in the last 20 years.
She's done a few things here and there.
See, I was going to say the last thing I remember her in, leading role was Dante's Peak.
Oh, wow. No, she's done other stuff since Dante's Peak.
Has she?
Yes. But I don't know if she's been, a lead in a lot of things. But I think she's done, smaller roles in other things and, maybe some TV stuff here and there. But I don't think, a big major motion picture like this one, I don't think she's really done it. I think she kind of maybe stepped back, raised her family, did that kind of thing, and then she was all right, family's good. Now I'm going to go be an action hero again.
Yeah, I guess.
Which, sure.
It's something.
Didn't know it, but Linda Hamilton is also a twin.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, that's how they were able to do some of the, I think it was the parts in T2 that had mirror images of her and stuff like that. I think there was some stuff that was because she had a twin, they were able to pull some stuff off that normally you wouldn't be able to without CG. So, as an action movie...
if you don't think about it, the action is fine.
Right.
It's not practical. It's tough, man, because... you look at movies like The Fast and the Furious, and a lot of that is CG, but it looks more practical than this. This had to have had a budget.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see John Wick, right?
Right.
And John Wick might be one of the best examples. You watch that movie, and none of it looks CG'd.
Right.
Right? I think it's mostly physical.
Or
practical.
I think a lot of it is because of, Keanu Reeves is very good with getting down like choreography and action. He's always been a kind of can't really talk right now, a perfectionist in that respect. I think he wouldn't want like a lot of stuntman stuff, so or a CG double or whatever.
Which is fine, but you gotta think they cast this movie.
Right.
Aside from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
And Linda Hamilton.
Right.
They cast this movie around semi-nobodies.
Right.
Right? They're not super famous people.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you say,
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have you play the new superhero, the new action hero, tall blonde lady.
Right.
And you're gonna be the new T-1000, even though you're not a T-1000.
Right.
Other guy.
Right.
I don't even know who they are. I know he's been in stuff.
Yeah, he's been in a couple things. He was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He played the Ghost Rider.
There you go.
Which he was good. I think he was really good at it.
But there's a fight scene with a metal chain.
Yes.
Wouldn't they say, you know what, we could probably get even a rubber chain for this to be a fight?
Right.
It's CG chain.
Oh, really?
It's a CG chain with this fight. You know what I mean? And that's just... It looks bad.
Yeah.
But then next to it, they have de-aged Sarah Connor at one point.
Right.
And she looks great. Like, the effects on that are great. But
right.
It's when they're interacting with the world, it's almost always the interaction between different people. The gravity's wrong. When they're fighting, like when people getting knocked around. The interaction with the real world never looks good. It looked good 30 years ago in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They can't do it now with that budget.
Yeah, that is a thing. That and also this could be, and I've actually watched a couple things on this. It could be timing. It also could be the budget. Like they want to put more money into certain things than others.
De-aging Linda Hamilton? I wonder what the budget is.
Well, now that those effects are used more regularly, they're probably easier packages out there to get. But do a fight scene, it might be a little bit harder to like, because you have to really like have an animator who knows what they're doing with that kind of stuff.
Fine, how's this? I'm going to make it easier for you.
Right.
Terminator 1 came out 700 years ago.
Yes.
Forever ago.
Forever ago.
There is a point in this movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger gets a little bit messed up, and the robot is underneath.
Right.
And the skin is on the outside,
mm-hmm.
like it would be.
Right.
And it's CG'd robot.
Okay.
Now, they didn't do it 700 years ago. They didn't do it 28 years ago with Terminator 2.
Right.
Why did they do it now? It can't be cheaper to CG that
right.
than to hire a makeup artist for a day.
Yes.
And just film that 5-minute scene and be done.
Yeah. But there's a lot of schools of thought on this. They know that practical takes more time because a lot of like what I mean by take more time is going to take more time on the day of doing,
But what's he busy doing?
He's Arnold.
Escape Plan 6?
He's going places.
Is he?
He's doing
72 years old.
No, I'm telling you right now, Twins 2, it's coming. He's working on it right now.
Danny DeVito is in Jumanji.
Is he?
Yeah, did that just blow your mind?
No, I didn't know he was in Jumanji. The new one?
So the new Jumanji, by the way, which I saw a trailer for in front of Terminator.
Oh, okay.
2 of the kids
mm-hmm.
go back as their counterparts.
I know that, yeah.
But Kevin Hart
mm-hmm.
and The Rock are played by Danny Glover and Danny DeVito.
Okay.
They go back accidentally as themselves, like old.
Right.
And they don't understand what's going on because they're old.
Right, because they weren't in the Jumanji that was before that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So it's about like them in the game world again, but like a different version of the game world, I guess.
I don't think it is.
Oh, really?
I think it is the same as Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
Okay.
That was the second one, right?
That was the new one.
This is, I forget what it's called. Jumanji 3.
Jumanji Attacks.
The Alan Parrish Project.
The Alan Parrish Project.
That was his character's name, right?
I forget.
Yeah, I think that was Robin Williams' character. Alan Parrish.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Isn't that... Yeah. No,
You're thinking Alan Parsons.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. It's, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about. So, Terminator, would you recommend...
Don't see it.
Don't see it.
Don't see it. It doesn't matter.
I know. I don't think it's cleaning up at the box office like people thought it would.
It's apparently a big flop.
Yeah, I figured. Because it just seems like that franchise now does not have enough, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the fan base loves Terminator, loves those first two movies, but the ones that have come after it have not been as good. It's slowly like that fan base is kind of like, oh, do I want to see this again? But it's like getting worse and worse and worse and worse. The last one was probably, I don't even really remember it. I've seen parts of it, but I was just like, it just doesn't feel like anything to do with Terminator. It had Khaleesi.
It did have Khaleesi, who didn't look like herself.
She looked really young in it too. I was just like, when was this shot? Like 100 years ago? Was this before Game of Thrones?
It must have been. Let's play a little game.
Okay.
Alright. It's going to be called, Can You Name All of the Terminator Movies?
I can tell you right now, no. Alright, we'll go. So, Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Terminator 1.
Terminator 1. Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Terminator 3...
It's Terminator 3, Rise of the Lycans.
Rise of the Lycans.
Rise of the Machines.
Rise of the Machines.
Okay.
Terminator 4.
Well, there's no 4 in it.
Yeah.
From this point forward, there's no numbers.
Right. So it's Terminator. Oh God.
It's something that this new movie does not give you.
Happy ending.
Salvation.
Oh, Salvation. Yes. So yeah. So Terminator Salvation.
The next one is spelled wrong.
Oh man. Terminator.
But it has a computer pun in it, which is why they spelled it wrong.
Oh no.
First book of the Bible.
Oh, Genesis.
That's right.
But with a Y, right?
It's Genesis.
Sis. Which was really weird.
And this one just opened. I said it before, but do you remember the name of it anymore?
Terminator Dark Fate.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Can we go back in time and change the name? I need one of those lightning balls, first off, to go back in time.
That's right. But hey, and you're going to come out naked, just to let you know.
That's fine.
Just make sure... See, this would be my thing if I was like, hey, when you send me back in time, make sure I'm by a clothing store.
No, by a biker bar.
Or by... Yes, by a biker bar so I can go in, beat a guy up, strip him naked, and take his clothes and his bike.
Because I want to say that happened in the first 3? How does she get the cars in the third one?
I don't remember.
Because this is not the first time they've done a tall, blonde
in the
character.
In the third one, she was a liquid Terminator, right?
Was she? I think she was.
I think she was. But she was like a more advanced liquid one, which I was just like, alright. But she could also do the thing where she could make clothes, I think, so...
Oh, she just made her own clothes.
I think so. I don't think she, like...
1 and 2.
Yeah, I don't think she walked around naked unless, for whatever reason, you did that.
I need your clothes, your keys, and your wallet.
Right.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Your clothes, your keys, and your bike. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. I was like, your wallet?
Bike.
Do you need to buy something?
Yeah, he does. He needs to buy his way out of being in a sixth Terminator movie.
Yeah.
Is he the only consistent actor?
And
you're about to say he wasn't in the fourth one, but he was.
Well, a CG version of him.
Still him.
But it wasn't like it was a complete CG young version.
He still gets paid.
That's true, because it is his likeness. So it would be he gets paid for that.
It has to be.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think if he was in the third one.
Yeah, he was the hero of the third one.
Yeah.
Which and he was also not explained.
And he was in Genesis, so yeah.
Genesis was terrible.
Yeah. So he's been in.
I would argue that this movie is worse than Genesis.
Yeah, because at least I think with Genesis, they at least did the I'm trying to think like they were still going with the continuity. So it wasn't like they just jumped off the continuity completely.
It works in some films doing that. Like Halloween was fine.
Right, because they went right after the first one, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it was kind of like, hey, we're going to go right after the first one, but we're not going to really change continuity that much.
Well, they got rid of everything else.
They did.
Yeah, because she never has a kid.
Okay.
That's Josh Hartnett. There's no Halloween H2O.
Right, okay.
I guess is what I'm saying. So,
right.
She has a different kid. It's daughter. Not a son. None of the stuff at all happened with that. But it's Michael Myers, it's simple in concept, and you're not erasing everything about the characters.
Right.
You're just saying instead of her having this kid, she has a different kid, and she's still crazy and afraid to leave her house.
Right.
Because she's been through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's Laurie. And Michael Myers, you could say for him, had he not been in prison that whole time, 2 could have happened, and 4 could have happened for him.
Okay. Alright.
But none of the others. But that's neither here nor there. It's Halloween. The plot doesn't matter that much, because his literal motivation is just that he's a killer.
Yeah.
But when you take out the fact that there's no motivation for any of this, like, this movie should not have happened.
Right.
The beginning of this movie can't have happened if you're saying that T2 happened.
Right.
Because that's just not how time works.
Yeah, and that's another thing that they're really like just saying, hey, time travel, this is how we're gonna do it, and it's that bothers me, because it's like you're breaking major rules, because then it's just like if all the other stuff happens, then there would be no reason for any of the first 2 movies to have happened. Like it would just erase everything, and if they did that, that would have been like just start all over again with a completely clean slate. That would have been maybe better, but they didn't do that. They're trying to still do their continuity, and it's just not working.
So what you're saying is you had your heroes of the first 2 movies.
Right.
Right? The first series of films.
Right.
And then they want to replace them with a younger group of heroes.
Right.
And none of that stuff really mattered, because there's still a threat looming in the background that's a big evil presence.
Right.
So, the comparison to Star Wars 7, 8, and 9?
Yes.
Just saying.
It's true.
Because guess what? There might not be an Emperor, there's a Kylo Ren.
It's true.
And the Emperor's still in 9, apparently.
Which, yeah, we're recording this a month before the new Star Wars comes out. But the new trailer has come out, and they have shown pretty much the Emperor. Like, they've shown like a guy on a throne that looks like the Emperor to me, and they've shown I'm not sure what it is, but like Kylo working with Ren, and then there's Kylo fighting Ren, and this is the thing, like JJ likes to do this, which is, I'm gonna mislead you almost completely. Don't go pay attention to the trailers, because guess what? Yeah, like the whole stuff with C-3PO, like there's a part in the trailer where he's like saying, "I just want to look at my friends one last time." Like, oh, is C-3PO gonna die? It's like, well, we got Billy D, and we got I guess he's gonna like. So it's really strange. Like I honestly, you don't know, because I think a lot of the trailer is just gonna mislead you, like he likes to do. So
well, he has to.
He has to, especially for this kind of series. So I think he's gonna like, yeah. And there's even the toys of like the Dark Ren, which are like, is that Dark Ray? Sorry, Dark Ray, and it's like, hey, I gave him his helmet back and and all that stuff. But yeah, pretty much what everything that happened in the last movie is like, no, it's not how it's gonna go. And the whole like Knights of Ren thing, like all that stuff is like, he's like, I had an idea that was gonna happen in this movie, and this is what's gonna happen for the last movie.
Do you think that he's just like, my Star Wars Episode 8 happened in my mind, so all of you are gonna have to understand that we're gonna ignore that one? I
think it is, because he pretty much like steamrolled over everything that
So why did Episode 8 happen without him? Would be my question.
I think they were like, well, let's see. I think they were like, they kind of trusted Rian Johnson, and he made a movie that was like his version of a Star Wars movie, but I think he didn't want to really follow the path that JJ was going down. Like, it was probably going to be revealed that Snoke was going to be the Emperor. Like, I have a feeling like the scar on the face and all that stuff was just kind of like a big mislead to be like, oh, this is somebody new, but I'm betting it was like, this is the Emperor, and that's what it was going to lead into, is that the Emperor was really like still alive, but he was messed up for many years or whatever. But I have a feeling Rian Johnson was like, well, I just want to make my version of a Star Wars movie, and he did. And some people were like okay with it, some people were just like, no, I really didn't like it. And when they brought JJ back, well, he's like, well, I want to do what I originally planned to do. So it's like, bring back the Emperor, make it like, bring in all this other stuff, like the Knights of Ren thing, like all that stuff. So I don't know. We'll see.
How mad do you think he was sitting in a theater, hearing the words, the past is dead?
Yeah. I have a feeling he was not happy about that. Because he seemed to be, like, still, like, pulling a lot of, like, that stuff. Like, he kept a lot of that stuff in.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was really mad when Brienne of Tarth took a big fall.
Yeah, this cool new character that he created.
Yeah.
Is she even in 9? Like, are
they going to
attempt to...
I don't think so.
No, she fell.
She fell.
Right. Broke a leg.
And I think he brought in, what's her name, Carrie Russell as, like, a new character.
Well, Carrie Russell's in it?
Yeah.
That makes sense. She's pretty much always worked for them.
She's like she's in a helmet. You don't really see her, but she kind of looks like a Boba Fettish kind of character.
I think I've seen.
You've probably seen a toy of her. I'm sure they have. Because she's in the new trailer. You see her like standing with like Rey and all the other people, and I was like, oh, okay, there's Carrie Russell, just hiding behind a mask.
That's her.
That's her. She's in a new movie coming out. Guillermo del Toro's new movie Antlers, which is back to like being horror stuff again.
Oh, it is a horror movie. I saw the title.
Oh, yes. It is. There's not even, like, I don't think there's anybody really speaking in the whole trailer, but it is a lot of, like, weird, creepy stuff. Yeah, there's some interesting pops out for this new Terminator movie.
What's interesting about them, Tim? What can you tell me about these?
Everybody's wearing sunglasses.
Alright, what else about them, Tim? Well, this is a chase of this one. So there are 3 separate characters you might be seeing.
Yes.
Which of them are the new hero of the Resistance?
Oh, man. None of them. They're all into...
Are any of them the new characters? You could argue that this here Rev is.
Yeah, so it's the new...
Is that his face?
Is that the skeleton?
That is the endoskeleton of him. That's
it.
So it's half of him, I guess.
And the other one that's Arnold?
That's Arnold.
Old Arnold?
That's Linda Hamilton. And this is Linda Hamilton without a shotgun, and instead with a bag of chips and a cell phone.
which is still a ridiculous thing. Chip bags do not block cell phones.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
And that's Arnold's got his stupid beard.
Yeah.
It does say T800 in case you're wondering.
Oh, they do call him the T800?
Yeah. They don't call him anything else.
Oh.
Because you should never call him anything else.
Alright.
It's super annoying.
I know. So, we're going to jump off of this. Obviously, it's not doing well. It wasn't planned out as well as they thought. And, I don't know. I don't think it's going to catch on. We'll see how it does in other markets if they do another one, but, yeah.
Yeah.
So
he started out as bad and turned good.
Yes.
Who else do we know that started out as bad and turned good, Tim?
So many things. Maleficent too. Yeah, of course. I was gonna go right into it, but yeah. So
I'll segue in it.
Okay.
You're not getting through without a Paul Blart.
Which this is Maleficent 2, Mistress of Evil. Which I gotta say, in this movie, she wasn't that evil.
Yeah, I was gonna say from your description earlier, I don't think she's a bad guy.
Yeah, no, and I won't get too spoilery with this, but picks up, I think, 5 years after the first movie. Aurora's still Queen of the Moors, which is helping with all the fairy people, all the weird things, and in this movie, this isn't going to spoil anything. There are 2 digs, I think, at other CG movies. There is a mushroom-headed person in this who looks very much like a Smurf. And there is a little hedgehog creature in this who looks kind of like a Sonic, but not in a creepy way for either of those characters. There's definitely a part in this thing where so the story is, what's his name? Prince Philip is going to propose to Aurora, and he's from a kingdom that's adjacent, pretty much adjacent to the Moors kingdom or whatever. And they need to get her to a certain spot where he's going to propose, and little Sonic, who's about I'd say maybe a little less than a foot high, steals Aurora's crown and then runs with it. Inside it, almost looking like a spinning, Sonic kind of spin attack kind of thing. And I was I wonder if that's a little bit of a dig at Sonic, because that little creature's cute. Sonic in the movie, way creepy. Did that come out?
No.
Did Sony?
No, it's coming out next year.
Yeah, and I was gonna say does Disney doesn't do Sonic? Cause that was Sony, and I'm trying to think who does the Smurfs. Is that DreamWorks?
DreamWorks is the Smurfs. Sony and DreamWorks.
Right, so that's digs at other CG animated movies. I thought maybe, I was I wonder if they're digging at them a little bit. But, yeah, just in a subtle way. But, yeah, their Sonic didn't look creepy. I was hey, I'd watch that little hedgehog running around. It's cute, and it was funny, and not creepy. Didn't have teeth. Creepy human fingernails.
Yeah, why doesn't he have the gloves? I think that's the big thing.
And does he have the shoes? He has shoes.
He has shoes.
I don't know. It really didn't make sense. We could get into the whole Sonic thing, but we'll wait till that movie comes out. And is terrible.
Because it does have Jim Carrey in it, though.
Yeah, which I gotta say, they showed him at the end as Robotnik in that trailer, and I was all right, I could see that.
Why doesn't he just look like that the whole time?
I don't know.
I mean, he's Robotnik the whole time.
Yeah.
He's not Professor Eggman.
Professor Eggman, but he looks like Professor Eggman at the end. But Sonic does not look like Sonic. Sonic looks like a monstrosity.
Has there been that much backlash for a character being brought to a live-action movie before?
No.
Because some of them have looked...
Well, wait.
Interesting.
Ninja Turtles, I think, had theirs was pretty big backlash, but I don't think it's as bad as what Sonic was.
But they didn't even redesign him. They were just no. Deal with it.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, deal with it twice. But Garfield looked weird.
Yeah, but not, I don't think, so out of the realm of Garfield.
How about Marmaduke?
I don't even
Is
remember
it
that
just
movie.
that nobody saw it?
Yeah, I think nobody really cared that much about Marmaduke.
Owen Wilson.
Was he in Marmaduke?
I think he was. I think that was during his dog face.
Where it was Marley and Me and Marmaduke?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay. But yeah, I don't...
Don't want to mar his resume.
Oh, boo.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're getting way out of characters here, but... So there's a little Sonic character, he's you know, funny and cute, and not creepy. But the whole story is, for this, is it's kind of like, hey, she's getting married, he's getting married. Michelle Pfeiffer's in this, who plays Philip's mom, does not like fairy creatures, and is apparently poaching them to make weapons to kill the fairy people. With Willow, Warwick Davis is like her little guy in the dark basement making weapons to kill fairies with like lead bullets out of crossbows.
So he's a bad guy?
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
How often does Willow play a good guy?
Professor Flitwick, Harry Potter.
Yeah, but for every one of those, didn't he also play one of the goblins
He did.
in the bank?
He played, actually he's played a couple of them, I think, in Green Gods. Yeah, I don't know, he's played some good characters, he's played some bad characters, it's okay.
They should put him in more good guy roles.
I know.
I want him to be the hero of the universe. I want him to be the leader of the resistance.
Really hated that movie. I would say, Val Kilmer's not doing much. Willow
Well,
2.
Top Gun.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, just
Get
Sequel City?
him right back after like his Top Gun and be like, hey, Willow 2. Willow in New York. Willow on Leprechaun in the Hood. In fact, Warwick Davis, I think, played Leprechaun, right?
He did. I think he was in all the Leprechauns.
Yeah, I'm
playing
pretty
the
sure
bad
he was.
guy.
Yeah. Make it a good one.
Are they
Leprechaun.
remaking that?
I'm sure. Probably like Jordan Peele is gonna make Leprechaun.
Do you think he would only want to make Leprechaun in the Hood? Because he did have that weird statement
What?
where he was not interested. He said it after Us, or during press for Us, and he said he's not interested in making a movie with a white guy as the lead. That's actually a true story. Like, he said that.
Okay.
So do you think he would only make a Leprechaun into Hood?
No.
And then...
It could just be a Leprechaun where, like, it's not
But that's just, like, that was the concept of it. It wasn't... Because Leprechaun Back to the Hood, which was the sequel, in case you're wondering.
Was there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because the Hood did so well?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
Well, it must have, right? I mean, you know it.
Yeah.
How many Leprechauns were there before Leprechaun
Oh, I
into
have
Hood?
no idea.
That's right. You don't know because that's the memorable one.
Yeah. Because, well, I mean, all the other ones, I mean, not even like the first one was great, but they're all kind of weird in their own way.
Which Halloweens can you name?
Probably just Halloween H2O. I mean, that's pretty much it.
No Resurrection?
Yeah, Resurrection. But I don't know, I don't think I was ever so into the Halloween franchise.
He's always my second favorite.
Oh, okay.
Because
I can tell you all the Nightmare on Elm Streets.
You can name them all.
I don't know if I can name all of them, but I know it was Dream Warriors. I can, like, a lot of Jasons, like all the Jason movies. Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, or Jason 10, however you want to say that.
Was it the 10th one?
I don't think so. I don't think it was
Yeah, I don't think it's a
one.
Mortal Kombat situation. I
Yeah.
think it's just Jason X.
By the way, another Mortal Kombat's coming out.
I know.
I'm actually excited to see like what they do with another Mortal
I'm
Kombat.
not.
It's got one of the guy from the Badlands, who's the guy from what was he? Deadpool 2. He was Shatterstar. Who actually is an amazing martial artist and was going to be Iron Fist until they decided to go with somebody who has no martial arts experience to do slow kung fu. So, Maleficent 2, getting back to that. so it's about like pretty much meet the parent situation. Michelle Pfeiffer doesn't like Maleficent. Maleficent doesn't like Michelle Pfeiffer. And then it's like you find out, and this is in the trailer, that there are other people like Maleficent, and it's about like, hey, are you going to choose human people, or are you going to choose us? And it becomes a big fight between a human kingdom and a fairy kingdom, and then it's kind of like, that's kind of like how the plot goes, and you get more and more like to it. But it wasn't, the theme was kind of like you make your own family, kind of that. And also when you marry someone, it's a joining of two families kind of thing. But it just was like too much of like, here's all new characters, here's all this, and a new kingdom and a new situation, and it wasn't, I think, enough of like a build up to something. Where it was a simpler story in the first one, where it was about a person who was learning to love someone again, kind of like with a mother-daughter situation. This was a much more complicated story. There takes some weird cul-de-sacs into things that I was just like, alright, I don't really know if we really need to go into that. Sure. It wasn't bad. The CG looked great. The costuming was awesome. Like, all that stuff, of course, like, holds up really well. I'm sure there's going to be some, maybe not this Halloween, but maybe next Halloween, some Maleficent costumes that people are going to be inspired by this movie.
Cheekbones,
sharp cheekbones. And I don't know if it was in the first one, but in this one she definitely had like a mouthpiece for like fangs or something. Which I was like, did she have fangs in the first one? I don't remember. But
I don't think so.
It definitely, like, there's one part where she's trying to talk with them, and I'm just like, it sounds a little weird. But, okay. And Angelina Jolie's great. Michelle Pfeiffer's great. All the acting is well done. It's just like, this seemed like it needed like another quick like run through to maybe trim up some of the fat of it, or like rework a few things, and it would have been a better movie. But still an okay movie. You know, not necessarily you need to go to the theater to see it. Maybe something if you get your Disney Plus service and like, hey, I didn't see Maleficent 2, go check it out. But so a few things besides movies came out. You've been playing something that you've been waiting for a while to come out. Perhaps I've heard the better Ghostbusters series, a better Ghostbusters than what was presented.
I would argue that it has better writing than Ghostbusters Answer the Call, which is the new subtitle they've given it.
Is that that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2016 is now called Ghostbusters Answer the Call.
And you know what? I was listening to a this female reviewer who was saying, like, who was actually talking about it and actually legit kind of found out why this wasn't a good Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, if you take out the comedy and take, like, the first Ghostbusters is an actual kind of scary movie. Like, it has a lot of practical effects and stuff, and I know a lot of people got down on that one for that. They didn't. It was all CG and looked not as good, and
super neon,
super bright and stuff, and it just ruins that kind of aesthetic. But there's some scary stuff, like the stuff where like eggs are frying on like her. Like in the first one, this was Sigourney Weaver, where she's like, there's stuff happening, like the stuff where they, like, the hands come out of the chair and grab her. That's like legit scary movie stuff. People getting turned into dogs and like all that stuff. I mean, the jokes are in there, but it's like, hey, here's a horror movie, but with some comedy people in it. They tried to make a comedy and put certain horror elements in it.
There was no horror.
But it didn't. But there was no
horror.
There was no horror to it. Like it didn't have anything scary in it. And I think that's kind of where they messed up in the flow. It was just like, let's get all these funny people, let's get a funny director, and let's make what they, I'm guessing, was thinking was more of a comedy.
But the scenes,
and that's where it kind of ruins it a lot.
Have you ever watched a Judd Apatow movie like on disc, where they do something called Linorama.
Oh yeah, I've
any
seen
of these
that.
productions. So Ghostbusters 2016 for me works like that. Only it's Linorama is every scene.
Yeah.
And what that is in case you guys have never seen that, it's he does a thing where he has a lot of improvisation.
Right.
So
He'll be like, it's basically like giving the actors a scene.
Yeah.
And being like, this is what the scene is, and here, just do, and this is people who do improv really well, which these people who were in there do improv really well. A lot of them are SNL like alums.
Yeah.
And funny people, but it's just like a matter of, like sometimes you'll get good things, but sometimes it'll just be garbage. So it's like a lot of that.
Yeah, but he's just like, and I'm sure he scripts a lot of the lines that they say.
Right.
But he's just like, say all of these things as funny as you can say them. But they just kept all of that. Like, they didn't cut the scene.
Right.
Anyway, but that's my problem with that one. But I have been playing Luigi's Mansion.
Yes.
3.
Sorry. Let's get back to what we were talking about. The better Ghostbusters, which is Luigi's Mansion. Is it just Luigi's Mansion 2?
3.
3.
And there is not a mansion.
Yes, it is. It is a hotel.
It's a hotel. So the concept behind this one is Luigi gets a letter that he won a trip, all expense paid, to this awesome resort. And he goes there and he brings Mario and Peach and 3 Toads. And when he gets there, he goes to sleep the first night.
Right.
He wakes up, everybody's gone. It turns out the owner of the hotel is a ghost, and she's going to she freed King Boo, who's like the bad guy from the first one.
Right.
And they're going to trap everybody in picture frames.
Okay.
And so they've got everybody trapped except for Luigi. They go after him, he escapes, and then he finds Egad, sets him free because he's in a picture frame.
Okay.
And he's the professor that gives you your ghost pack thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm blanking on the name of right now.
Your ghost vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Basically.
Because that's what he does. He sucks up all the ghosts by smashing them into things.
Yes, which is always funny. I was just like, that's always kind of a funny visual. It's like he's like sucking them in the vacuum cleaner, and then he like slams them back and forth, like as if he is he's got, you know, as if they're in a like a bag of potatoes, basically, that he's just smashing against the wall and the ground and stuff.
But it's awesome so far. It's a lot of fun. The ghosts are neon.
Yes.
But they look good.
Yeah.
They fit the aesthetic pretty well.
Which is a Mario game.
Yeah. And some of the minor stuff you wouldn't expect to be a big deal works really well. Like simple jump scares. Almost everything interacts with your vacuum.
Right.
So you pull curtains off windows. Sometimes there's an open window there that you can walk out, and there's a puzzle to solve. And there's rats that attack you now, and spiders, and like you can suck all those up. And then there's like random chances at golden rats or spiders, and those have a bunch of money that they drop when you capture them.
Right.
Which is cool. You can go back at the gallery and like look at them. It has co-op. You get maybe like an hour into the game,
right.
An hour and a half, you get Luigi.
Which I love. I think it's great. Basically a slime Luigi.
Yeah, and he lives in a thing on your back, like a thing that attaches to the vacuum.
Right.
And whenever you want to call him in, you just press a button. He pops out. You can go interact with things that are behind fences or gates that you can't get through because you're physical. Yeah,
and he basically can, like, you know, squeeze his way in there, or if he needs to go through like a drain pipe to get to a button, like there's all this stuff that, like, or like if you need somebody to if you're standing on a switch, kind of like if you would say, like, if you played any of the Lego games, like Lego Batman, Lego Star Wars, where you always have like a partner with you, and to solve certain puzzles you need them to go hit a switch while you're hitting a switch, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's kind of a lot what he does, and you can control him too, so, which is interesting.
You can also now shoot a plunger.
Yes.
That you can then vacuum.
Right.
And pull things. So, like, for instance, I just fought a boss that has a pan that they use as a shield.
Okay.
So you can't vacuum them because his pan's in the way.
Right.
But you hit him with the plunger, you vacuum the plunger away, the pan away from them.
Right.
And then you can catch them.
Yes. So, and from what I've seen, all the bosses have kind of like their own unique things that make them, like, each level kind of its own interesting kind of, like, stuff. And a lot of people have said, like, this is, it's good, it's a fun game. And then if you want to go back and really do completionist kind of stuff, there's, like, finding all the hidden areas, like the stuff that you don't necessarily need to beat the game, but like can give you like extra trophies and stuff, and give you extra coins if you want to like add up. I think it's like you buy attachments and stuff like that, and you can buy extra lives, which they say is probably the most useful thing, is to buy extra lives.
There's also 8-player PvP mode.
Right.
Well, 4 versus 4,
mm-hmm.
where there's 4. Each team has 2 Luigis and 2 Guigis,
right.
I think. And you're trying to capture as many ghosts as possible before the other team.
Right.
I think you can even create obstacles for them, but I haven't tried it yet. But Luigi can't go through water. If he gets to water, he's obviously soluble.
Right.
So he just melts.
Right.
Which is pretty great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a blast. It's like a silly, fun game, but it's Mario style. It's Luigi.
Yeah.
The first one was probably one of the best GameCube games I think they made.
Yeah. And I think this one definitely falls into that vein where it's like, my favorite thing is there's, what's his, EGAD?
Mm-hmm.
When he calls you on a Virtual Boy.
It does. They even call it the VB.
And this is something that I have to say, bravo Nintendo for making fun of yourself. Because I believe he makes a joke where, it's like, oh, these things are going to be, take over, they're going to sell millions or whatever. And let me tell you, it's in red. Like, he even shows, like, he'll show up completely in red, which is what the thing was when you, Virtual Boy, when you looked inside of it, it was all red. I had one of these things. And let me tell you, afterwards, your eyes hurt. And there was no good position to kind of get into when you played it. Like, usually you were, like, if you tried to, like, put it on a table, you'd have to like put books under it to like get it to a good height to like where you could actually play it, or if you laid on your stomach, like eventually you're laying in a position where your like head is like being pushed back or whatever. But the fact that they really like bring that back and make fun of it and stuff is I love that. I love that they're like, yeah, we know we made mistakes in our past. Virtual Boy was not a great thing for us.
No.
But everybody's reviews have been positive for this. How are you feeling so far with it?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's one of the best Switch games so far. It's tough to top like Zelda or Mario Odyssey, but it's up there.
Yeah.
I'll let you know after I finish it, because I'm sure it's not. I don't think it's super long.
No, I think people have been saying 15 hours or more.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's decent.
That's a pretty decent, but they said the replayability, like going back to get everything, is going to add time in. The player versus player stuff is going to add some stuff more, a little bit more to it.
Yeah, and I'm going to definitely finish it. This is a blast so far.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Another game that you've been playing recently that just came out, the good old Call of Duty.
I have been playing Call of Duty.
Yes.
And it is, this year it's just called Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Gotcha.
And it is a return to form.
Oh, okay.
It's essentially Call of Duty 4, but updated. Like, the multiplayer is straight out of Modern Warfare 1 or 2. Except they added a new ground war mode, which is Battlefield.
Right.
Which they never had before like this. Like APCs, giant maps.
Okay. All right.
Helicopters.
So you think that is kind of like the bigger thing of this, that it is like larger maps, larger. But I've heard people complain that sometimes you get a map that's like too big, it's hard to find people. Is it like that, or is it kind of like?
It's not that big. It's not Battlefield big. It's 20-player multiplayer. I think right now. I think they're going to probably 28. Probably. Battlefield's like 100. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is not that. It's smaller. You can still get from one end of the map to the other in a few, like maybe, if you're running, you probably do it in 30 seconds, 45 seconds. So there's still that.
Okay.
There's not, like, they don't change with objectives. It's still capture the point. But the multiplayer itself feels better than Battlefield does.
Okay.
It feels like you're doing impact with the weapons. The only issue I have with it so far is that when you do the crossplay, there is some lag.
Gotcha.
Because it's the first one where you can play PS4 against Xbox.
Okay.
Or PS4 against PC, or Xbox and PS4 against PC. Like, all of them can be there at the same time.
That's cool. See, that's actually nice.
It's really cool, except when the lag is there. Because I showed you a video earlier where I died as I was dropping a claymore.
Right.
You can see that little bit of lag as I get shot.
Right.
Where I still dropped the claymore, and I probably shouldn't have.
Right.
But I got a kill, and that guy has to be mad.
Yes.
He walked right into it.
Yes.
But it's... I mean, other than that, it's solid. The story so far, my God, it's Call of Duty. It's super realistic. It's what it used to be. So if they just maintain it, you'll be fine.
See, you just saying that right now is just... I know immediately that will not happen.
I mean, the problem with the last one, because I kind of like Black Ops 4 in certain regards. I didn't like that they didn't have a story.
Right.
I definitely like the Modern Warfare remaster. But the issues that I had with it was the Modern Warfare remaster and Black Ops 4, they had microtransactions. So those led to loot boxes.
Yes.
So it was fine when I was killing people with an M16 or like a future shotgun, whatever.
Right.
Because it still felt okay because it wasn't that bad a future shotgun. But then I'm getting beat in the head by a shovel with a smiley face on it. Or there's a guy running around the map with a broken bottle and just stabbing people. And that's probably not going to happen.
Right.
So maybe not that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if I want to goof around, I get it. But I don't want my realistic war simulator to have a guy, you know, in bright pink camo double jumping off walls to kill me with a plunger gun. It's stupid. You know, it's
and why would a plunger gun kill you?
Why would it?
Yeah.
They're really dumb. Like, the things they added into it, I don't know. They have a battle pass system right now, and it doesn't unlock anything stupid.
Right.
But they got a whole year to screw it up.
They've got a whole other year to look at Fortnite and be like, hey, why can't we do that stuff? People
because
love
it doesn't mesh.
Yes.
Fortnite is a cartoon style.
Exactly. And people who are into that might also play Call of Duty, but they're not playing Call of Duty because they want to see Fortnite stuff in a Call of Duty game.
Right. Keep it separate.
Keep it separate.
They don't even have the Battle Royale mode in this one. We're good so far.
Right.
We're fine. I also don't want to play a game where this is a thing that happens. Terrorist attack in, what is it, Piccadilly Circus? Piccadilly Circus.
In England?
In London.
Yeah.
Where a bunch of guys show up with bombs on their chests, and they kidnap people.
Okay.
You save them. There's a group where there's 6 seconds to disarm a bomb. It's you and Captain Price.
Okay.
Who's like an important character in the Modern Warfare universe.
Right.
He realizes he doesn't have enough time to save this one guy, and kicks him off a ledge.
Wow.
So he doesn't kill everybody.
Right.
I don't need that mixed with a smiley face shovel.
Right.
Like, that doesn't belong in this game.
Yeah.
Keep it separate.
Yeah, if you're doing something so serious and then so silly together, it's just not a good mix.
My squad just died trying to stop this toxic gas from being released in Russia somewhere.
Right.
You know, no broken bottles for me, bud.
Right.
Like, no pink camo.
Right.
It's stupid.
Alright. So, but this one you're saying so far so good?
Yeah, so far.
Are there plans for DLC for this? Have there been...
There is no season pass.
Okay. All right.
They are doing maps, but they're free.
Okay.
They're going to fund that somehow.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. Well, we'll see what goes on. I like that they're adding in the, like, you can play cross-system, which is nice. It's nice when you do that. I think that maybe they saw the success of Fortnite and saw how that was coming along. They're like, well, we need to start doing that too because, you know, people want to play each other across systems. That's something we should promote as well. because that'll definitely get like, hey, like I have friends who have Xboxes but don't have PS4s, so we can't play games together. But oh wait, we can play Call of Duty together. That's something that's good. That'll get you more sales that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the last things we want to talk about, Overwatch. Well, actually, at BlizzCon, they released a couple of things. The major announcements, of course, were Overwatch 2, which seems pretty much the same Overwatch that you've played before. Just I'm guessing it's going to be an up in graphics. I don't really think it's like maybe like more story. I'm guessing it's like the team is back. Overwatch 2 is kind of like Overwatch 1 seemed to be about the team is all split up and coming back together. Overwatch 2 seems to be the team is back together. So I'm sure that'll be good for the people who are into the story of it. But the thing that you were saying was that
you can play the PvP mode between Overwatch 2 and 1, which means all of Overwatch 2 that separates it is the PvE.
Right.
Which is a weird choice, but I know that's not... I feel like they're crowdfunding Overwatch on next gen.
Right.
And I didn't really talk to you about this, but this is the only way this makes sense to me, right?
Right.
If they're making it for PS5 and Xbox 2, which makes sense.
Right.
They release this one next May as half a game.
Mm-hmm.
Then they put out Overwatch 2 Ultimate Edition.
Right.
On PS5 and Xbox 2, right? And you get all of this stuff.
Right.
On your next gen system.
Right.
And that's the only way. The only people who are really losing here are Switch owners.
Yes.
Because it came out 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they just announced the second one.
Yes.
And it's coming out on the Switch. Why would you have spent money?
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think many people did.
And honestly, I think Overwatch has been out long enough that if you're into Overwatch, I think you've probably already gotten it for your other system that is not a Switch. The Switch is, it's mainly for the people who are Switch owners and like maybe want to play this game or had friends who play this game. But honestly, if you're playing Fortnite or one of those other ones, I don't think you're so much into this. But so that's probably why they didn't really like feel like they had to be so inclusive with Overwatch 2. But it looks good. I mean, for what they showed so far, it looks okay. There is another announcement that came out of BlizzCon, and they haven't shown really too much of this, but people kind of thought it might be coming, and that is Diablo 4, which is crazy. And again, it's another thing that's going to be for next gen. Obviously, they're kind of probably pushing that's going to be what the next thing is. The only thing that they've shown, which is cutscene, which looks beautiful, and kind of gives you what the main villain of the that you'll be what do you call it? Dungeon crawling,
the head leader of hell.
Yeah. So it's like that's kind of like if you see the trailer, go watch it online. But like the big thing is, spoiler alert, it's Lilith, which is okay, sure. It looked great. I mean, it looked cool. I was like, oh, that's cool. She looks interesting. It's like a weird thing of these guys let her out of whatever hell thing that she's in or whatever. But it doesn't really give you much other than that. I mean, it's just kind of a cutscene to get you excited about a game that you don't know. Because just because you have a cutscene, people know that, like, that doesn't mean there's a game coming anytime soon. But
the only thing that implies that it's soon is that it's on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch.
Right.
Which means it would have to be in the next year and a half.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't go beyond that.
Yeah, because let's face it, the next gen stuff's already on its way.
It comes out next year.
Yeah. So the fact that they're doing this and it's not going to be something they're going to promoting as like a next gen thing means like how much is this going to be developed for that, because that's like not a huge market going in because they want to be for the next system. So I'm not sure exactly what they're going to go for with this, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And anything else that you want to say about it?
Just that they should have had a real apology, not what they announced.
Yeah. So I haven't heard a lot of people's reactions yet. So this is about the stuff that was going on in Hong Kong, the protests going on there, and they're dealing with that, which was, they banned some people, they fired a few people that they've now rehired, but the guy that they banned is still banned. So it's...
he didn't say anything offensive.
Right. It was just, free Hong Kong. And it is, and this is for all the companies that are involved with this. It is only for money. There is no reason. Like, this has nothing to do, nobody has any, this is no political stakes at all, other than they don't want to get banned from the Chinese market because the Chinese market is a huge money for them. It's billions of dollars, and that's the only reason that people are kind of like, I don't know if we should, have people allow them to say stuff or whatever on our networks or whatever. Or the NBA is kind of going through this right now too, because that's a huge market for them as well. But Blizzard, I'm sure, is Hong Kong, or not Hong Kong, but China is a huge market for them.
I want to say it was 16% of their sales.
Yeah, which is that's a lot of money for them.
I don't know. Take the hit.
It is. Like, you could take the hit, but I'm sure they have like projections to like go like further and further into that, and that's why they're being this way, because they know that there's going to be more money to be had. So it's kind of like, I think this was a bad step for them, and yeah, I don't think it hurt their I think if they didn't say anything, it wouldn't have hurt their business at all. I honestly think it would just been, whatever. Like, we can't control that kind of stuff or whatever. And yeah. I think maybe it wouldn't have, they reacted too quickly in the wrong way. So I haven't heard fan reactions yet to the apology. He does say, the CEO comes out and he does talk about it, and he apologizes, and he says we reacted too quickly and stuff, but I don't really know that it's really, he's just saying that because he knows that people are mad about it. People are protesting at BlizzCon. There was vans driving around with protest signs on. There was people dressed in protest things. Yeah, so I know the community behind Blizzard is very much mad at them with this, and I don't know if his apology was really sincere or it was just like a way to just like, hey people, we're gonna stay out of this now or whatever kind of thing. So we'll see how going forward how all that kind of shakes out, because it's still going on. So we'll see how it goes from here.
Yeah.
So
bunch of garbage.
I know. We'll see how this goes. It's going to be an interesting time for a while, I think, and we'll see going forward how companies react to that when people are like, why are you going against what the people are doing?
I think the minute you have to censor somebody's speech about your government, then your government is weak.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the minute you have corporations acting for you,
which is another thing that is crazy to me.
Yeah, like they shouldn't kowtow to that nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Right, exactly. So
it's gross.
Yeah. But I think that's all the stuff we got for this week. Next week we'll be talking some more stuff. I don't know. Well, you haven't seen the second Watchmen yet, so we won't go into the second episode of the Watchmen. New one tonight, so maybe next time we meet we'll talk about 2 and 3.
There we go.
And anything else you're looking forward to coming out?
Yeah. This week, though I probably won't before we record have played it because it comes out the 8th.
Okay.
Death Stranding.
Yes, I've seen a lot of stuff for Death Stranding.
The reviews, holy cow, are everywhere.
Really?
There are 3s out of 10.
Really?
Then there are 10s out of 10.
Really?
IGN gave it a 6.8. GameSpot gave it a 9.
Okay.
They're all over the place.
Really?
Yeah.
That to me sounds very interesting. So this could be a very niche game.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, looking at it, I was like, I don't know who this is for, but it's for somebody.
It's for Kojima's catharsis.
Yeah, and I think it's also is this the first one he's made with nobody?
Yep.
No, not for anybody else other than his studio. So it's interesting in that regard. It's got a lot of interesting actors in it, and like directors. Guillermo del Toro's in it. Norman Reedus is the main character, obviously. It's got Hannibal in there. Mads Mikkelsen. Like, Did
you see the latest one they announced was in it?
No.
Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien?
Conan O'Brien is an actor in Death Stranding.
Wow.
And he gives you a sea otter suit that allows you to swim.
That is
Tim,
nuts.
this game is a fever dream.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on, but and honestly the trailers and the stuff they've released doesn't really give you a good idea. But I could see where this could go all over the place. So
we'll see.
We'll see. It could have an interesting life. Is it? I mean, have they said anything about? Is there multiplayer in this? Anything like that? Is only like a single player game?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, they're also kind of interesting. Most games have a little bit of multiplayer, but this one, yeah, we'll see how this goes. It could be successful. It could be a big flop. It's really just gonna. I don't think it'll be like a middle of the road kind of thing. I think it'll just be a really big or really bad for them.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot of hype behind it, so we'll see.
We will see.
Yeah. So, as always, you can find us online. You can find me at Tim Martinick on the Instagrams. You can find Bob.
I'm on Twitter at Martin, MARTON_Bob, and I'm on Instagram at Bob J. Martin.
And you can find Precarious Pixels on all of the sites, iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, Stitcher, and all labeled Precarious Pixels. And if you want to send us a message, rate us, review us, we'd love to hear you. And if you want us to check out anything, hashtag it Precarious Pixels, we'd love to see it. So we'll see you next week, and I'll just say bye. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Yeah.
To do a little redesigning with us, you can find Bob at Martin, MARTON_BOB, on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram at Tim Martinick, all one word, TIMMARTINEC. And you can join in us, have some fun, do your redesigns for this week's redesign. It's a lot of fun for us to do this, but we like to see fresh ideas and fresh artists like doing what they do as well. You can also hashtag it Precarious Pixels and we'll find it as well.